Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Uh, I got started, I got 14 minutes in, and it froze up on me, so I'm just going to start over, but I'm starting completely over. I'm going to leave what I have so far because I think that it's starting to align with Monday's reading. Let's go over that really quickly. We had Thurazaz, or Breaking Through Obstacles, as the rune, and Kata Draconis, or past life experience, coming in to assist with that. Or the past actually providing the impetus for breaking through obstacles and perceptions and whatnot. It's also a protection rune, Thurazaz is. We had the Six of Swords, so a journey toward new perceptions, or a journey over water, whichever you prefer. The Knight of Wands, which is a passionate guy who's out there on a quest, thinking about things, about maybe taking a different direction. He's really showing you he's on the trip to the Holy Land, so there's spiritual quality to that. Queen of Cups, compassion, benevolence, going within, the receptive presence, letting that guide you. The challenge card was the Six of Pentacles, which instead of shared abundance, I looked at it instead as keeping you in your place. The powers that be giving the two people on the ground still kneeling. He's not elevating them. He's just dropping some coins into their awaiting hands. So nothing's changing for these folks. So whatever's going on in their life is not going to be elevated by the powers that be. So that's where I saw that. I thought, you know what, that's oppressive. So I changed how I added another way of looking at this, and I really think it matters in this case. Now the benefit, what will benefit us on Monday, was the King of Pentacles, and that's an eye toward legacy. What do you want in the end, when all is said and done? What's going to preserve your relationships with others? What's going to preserve your career? What's going to preserve where you live? What's going to preserve your whole time here? And what legacy do you leave your family? What legacy do you leave your children? And I don't just mean legacy in terms of money or inheritance or anything like that. What of you? What impact have you had that's going to be part of your legacy here? Is it going to be part of your legacy that you stormed the Capitol in January? Is it going to be, are you the state lawmaker here in our state that let rioters into the Oregon Capitol, and we have it on tape, and we have him on tape talking about ahead of time, here's where I'm going to be, here's how we'll do it. I mean, there's tapes of this. That will be his legacy. Whatever he could have done for his area in the state is not going to matter now. You see, this is what I mean about legacy. And again, are you somebody that is either going to allow yourself to be oppressed? Are you going to see the truth of this and understand that you're being played? You see, because that's the element of the Six of Pentacles that I saw that day on Monday, is that you're being played. You're being played by some authority who wants you to buy into a bunch of garbage that keeps him rich, keeps him in power, but does nothing for you. Gives you the illusion of something, of breadcrumbs, but that's all it's worth. It's not going to guarantee your legacy in any respect. It's only going to guarantee theirs. Okay? So with that, today's rune is Ewaz, binding together with others in mutual end. It's Laguz, forward and reverse, coming together in the center. So it's flowing in spirit with other people. We have Laetitia or happiness and joy and harmony and laughter. So when we do that, when we come together based on spirit instead of ego, but again, it depends on this letting go of perceptions that no longer serve, so you can move towards something better in your life, right? And away from all the lies and the deception that you've been clinging to because you think it's true. Well, you need to know that it isn't, and I think a lot of people are beginning to know that now, and it's very upsetting, right? Because you've been led down the garden path for somebody else's purpose. Usually it's money, right? Donations. Send me money, send me money, send me money, right? Stop sending him money. Don't do it anymore. Let it go. Let him go. He's not there for you. He's there for him only. So, but now say we are on the path toward binding toward a mutual end. In other words, unity and harmony and raising the vibration of everyone, raising and elevating the legacies of everyone. Say we're doing that now. Okay, we've turned a corner, or we're continuing on rather in that process. What are we going to manifest today? The magician and the high priestess and the fool sort of occupy this upper level in the major arcana, if you look at it on the tree of life, and you're going to have them above the abyss. And so when the fool takes his leap of faith down through the abyss into form, all right, magician manifests the physicality of that, and the high priestess the unconscious aspect of that. So there's your masculine and feminine principle. There's your projective and receptive presence contained within, and the gender's decided at that point when they take the leap. They know what the theme is, we know what that is, and then we take our leap into form. And that's and how that manifests. The theme is conveyed, I guess, to both the magician and the high priestess, and together they create this body and this experience for us to come into. So what are we going to manifest today? Now with our new perceptions, because it's not an easy path. Now we can look at this as the Nine of Wands as an uneasy truce between you and others, but I suspect that it's the uneasy truce between you and your own will. Whenever you have to shift your perception, whenever you realize, you know what, I've been played here. This is not true. I'm going to go think about this, and I'm going to think about it differently. All right. Somewhere in there, whatever you've been doing to manifest all of it has to change. And that's the fire element. That's will. Okay. So here you've been battered and bruised. You can see the wounding there on his head and on his arm. You can see the bandages there. Looks like maybe he needs one there. But he's holding his staff kind of askew a little bit, just a little bit, because he's looking back at everything else. Now, these could indicate other people. They could indicate support, the end of some kind of conflict, the end of some kind of battle or challenge. But I don't think so. I think that you got to where you are by thinking the thoughts you think. You chose to buy into whatever nonsense that wasn't true. And now you may, and we all do it, right? You take the leap of faith, basically, that what you're hearing is true. And if there's elements of it that seem to fit with what you already know to be true, then it's easy to pile the other stuff on and make people think the rest is. All right? And so at some point, if you have to let all that go, well, that's not so easy. Especially if you've been spending some time, devoted to one thing or another. It's not serving you. It's never going to serve you. Lies never do. I mean, not in the long run. Oh, it might for the real rich. It might for the people that are really powerful, because they don't care. They don't have any compassion for humanity. They don't have any compassion for anyone but themselves. That's why they got in the positions that they're in, you see. But they need the rest of us to keep them there. And that's where the lying comes in. And if you buy into it, well, you may discover that's really not what I believe. That doesn't even feel right. And especially when you realize you've been lied to, suddenly it's like, ooh, you're risk averse to even looking at it, but you have to. And that's kind of what it looks like here. It's like, I don't really want to look at what I did. I don't want to really look at how I felt. I don't really want to look at the decisions and choices and the things I manifested. I really don't want to do that, but I have to. Now, the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is an interesting card. Clearly it's a card of destitution, of change, and now they're in destitution. And with Pentacles, we're talking finances. We're talking about it. I mean, they don't have a home. They're wounded. The one there's on crutches. They're huddled against the cold. Snow is everywhere. And either help refuses to be available, or it is and they just can't see it. because you see behind them is a church. You see the stained glass there. So that indicates the church. Or at least some type of authority that could help them if they could just take a look at what's there. But they can't see it. They're too destitute. They're too bereft. There's been too big of a change in circumstances, so they're wrapped up in that. So you can't get lost in that. And that may be saying that whatever new path that you're on, the change in perceptions that you had to make in order to take that new road, it's not going to be easy. And you may have a lot of different issues come up that you have to resolve as you go forward. A lot of people, there seems to be an alignment with the anti-vax people. You had a woman, I saw a video of it. I don't know where she's at, some local area or something, like a city council meeting, or I'm not sure what it was. But she's a doctor, and she's saying that this stuff, that the vaccines will cause keys to stick to your forehead. And she set something on her face, and of course it didn't stick. It causes magnetization, right? And it's like, this is garbage. It's absolute garbage. It's not true. Trust me, I've had both vaccines. Nothing like that is happening. So you can see where, there's going to be a lot of, there's a lot of emotional and intellectual investment into this conspiracy stuff. And you can't see the forest for the trees. And that's what this always reminds me of. You've had such a change in circumstances now, it's hard to know who to ask for help. It's hard to know where to get the truth. And so what we're going to manifest, maybe, and realistically, I'm wondering, well, we'll see if we want to keep it in the same order or not. But I just think that you've got, let's see, so there's a 1 energy, so there's a 6 energy. You're still looking at harmony so far with the reading. And again, manifesting that, letting go of the will, getting that in order, taking a look at the decisions that you made, the things that you manifested, and letting go of things that are actually bringing you down. You could look at the 5 of Pentacles that way. And again, let's do a challenge card here. Well, Judgment. So you have a major arcana card here and Judgment is about renewal and rebirth. You see that flag there that he's holding next to that the angel's holding, the red with the red cross on it. Think of this line here as the line of the abyss. Think of this area as the Fool and the Magician and the High Priestess. Okay, this is that area there. And bringing out the pennant like that, the Gabriel blowing his horn, basically, the angel Gabriel. We've got everybody standing up out of their coffins. Judgment is, I don't think, a very good name for this card. There has to be a rebirth. There has to be a reawakening. If you, in fact, some other types of decks, non-traditional decks, call it Eon. Rebirth is another one. And realistically, when your body dies and you come back into form, it's a rebirth of sorts, right? But you don't have to do that to have an awakening. You don't have to do that to rebirth yourself here in form while you're already here. Every time you decide, I don't need to think that anymore, I'm going to think this, you're birthing something new, a new direction, a new way of thinking. So we're doing this all the time when we're here. So I think that the Magician card and the Judgment card are realistically bound together here in terms of manifestation and letting go of the grievance, letting go of the will that is just simply keeping you at odds with not only other people, but with yourself, you see. So I think that that's the challenge, is to awaken to truth instead of somebody else's manipulation that you're following today. And I think that it aligns very well with the Six of Swords from Monday. Breaking through past perceptions and allowing yourself to let go of that which no longer serves. So in a sense, let's take the last card here. Yeah, we have death. So the 13th card of the major arcana, 4 energy. So it's restructuring. It's rebirth, again, with Judgment and the Magician. You see the flower above. Now, you can see the pentagram contained within it. You see that? Turned upside down, though, it's just the card of form. It's the card of material form, physical form. We see over here, we see the 2 towers, a familiar theme in tarot, where the sun is rising between it on a new day, in balance. Yes, there's the Hierophant there. There's the priest. The king is dead on the ground. You've got the queen here and the child. They're bereft as death rides through on its white horse. So death can mean a physical death, but it can also mean the death of perception. It can mean a shift into new perceptions. It can mean just a shift into new experiences and new awareness. And I think that it's change, it's opportunity, it's transition, transformation. So when you look at all of these 3 together, that's really what you've got. You've got, well, I need to put these backwards, don't I? So you can see them the way they are. All right, so we've got the Magician over here, the initial manifestation, the awakening, and the transformation over here. So maybe this should come at the end, shouldn't it? Or rather, the magician card should come at the end, maybe. I don't know. But that's not the way we drew them, and that's okay. So I think that this really is about shifting your awareness into spirit, out of ego, transmuting ego into spirit, awakening to a new truth that may be uncomfortable, that maybe you may have look, to walk away from perceptions that don't serve you isn't something that happens in an instant, although it can. You can make that awareness and go, okay, that's it, I'm done and I'm gone. And you are, all right? But for some people, that transition isn't quite as simple. And so maybe they have friendships or what have you, relationships that have been established, or relationships, conversely, that have been damaged, and they don't know how to come back. Maybe they feel embarrassed by what they did, and they just cannot come back from any of it. And so it just seems to them like it's an insurmountable thing to have to do, especially if family has been affected, or really good friendships have been affected, and people are just in this odd transition time where they're trying to figure out, okay, things are starting to, in other words, truth is starting to enter in, and things are not making sense for them anymore. And so at some point you have to decide, what am I going to manifest? Am I going to manifest something that actually is going to serve me well in the long run? That's based on truth, that's based on harmony, that's based on spirit? Or am I going to continue to go down this path of conspiracy? And I mean, we actually had Louis Gohmert yesterday. I don't know where she was from. I don't know if she was from Bureau of Land Management or if she was from the Forest Service. But they're in a hearing, and it's done by Zoom or whatever. And he's asking her, because he says that the last head of NASA, which, good Lord, shouldn't have been there to begin with, talking about the moon being in a different spot, the sun or the earth being in a different spot. Okay, fine. But now he thinks that somehow BLM can, the Bureau of Land Management or the Forest Service can somehow figure out how to change the Earth's rotation to fix climate change. Yeah, the Earth's rotation around the sun, the ellipsis. Somehow they're supposed to do that? First of all, that they can't. No one can. But I mean, what is this? So you see what I'm saying? You got that And then you got the truth. Now, for some, that may be a big divide. For this guy, he's never going to jump. He's not. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. That's just nuts. But this is what we're talking about, okay? We're talking about people that are so hanging on so strongly to this nonsense. The Jewish space laser business. It's nonsense. I mean, just use the Jewish space lasers. Knock us out of, there you go. That's all you do, right? No. This is nutty stuff, guys. It's nutty. And so we need a transition. We've got to figure this out. We need to manifest differently here. You got to reject the space laser nonsense, right? And the magnetization nonsense. Some people won't even let vaccinated people in their homes. That's how crazy this has gotten. It's like, ooh, cooties. It's not how vaccines work, guys. No cooties. Just immune system response, that's all. Try to fight something off. That's all. So again, Louis Gohmert style craziness. Truth. Take the leap of faith. Anyway. Thanks a lot. And that's all I got. And come back on Sunday for Esoteric and Magical Influences. We'll do a video on that. It'll also be posted over on the blog. For Patreon members, you get all of it together. So if you're over there on Patreon following me there, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And to join, it's $1 a month or $12 a year. So that's all you got to do. If you want to see everything, unlock everything, you get to see all that over there. Plus, there's a magical correspondences I do 5 days a week, and sometimes I do a video for them as well. I also write over on Medium. All the links to all of that are below the video here. So check all that out and come back. If I don't see you on Sunday, hopefully I'll see you again on Monday for Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Have a good weekend. And we know we didn't cover last night, so yay. Looks like the temps are going to be up high enough we don't have to do that now. So we had a week of it, and now we're off and running, I think, in the garden. So hopefully you are too. So anyhow, again, have a good weekend and be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.